Okay, so Mike's video about MMO tribalism. MMO tribalism being a super big problem. Tribalism is one of those innate human tendencies. People do have this, I guess, hardwired in our brains to create tribes and defend those tribes. And I think that MMOs are particularly susceptible to that because they are, you know, community, social experiences. And so maybe more than other genres, we have that tendency, innate tendency to form and protect our tribes. It's like massaged a bit more. Okay, so this is Preach Gaming, MMO Tribalism. Let's see what he has to say about it. And is this
I've got to say, man, I didn't even know FF was like this. Like, every time someone showed it me, it was just like weeby, stupid nonsense stuff all the time. Yeah, man, I mean, that stuff is in there, but it's like, it's to build a stronger, tighter community, you know? Dude, I totally get that, right? I have never known players to be this friendly. Every time I do a dungeon or something, people are being nice. It's weird, like, it's almost bizarre, right? That's what it's all about in FF, right? We build like community etiquette, doesn't even need to be talked around. Like in dungeons, we see a sprout, we let them watch the whole video before they pull the last boss. It's just perfect.
It's perfect,
no
yeah.
way. I mean, I skip them anyway, right? Because I want to put some deeps, bro.
Wait, what?
You don't have to do that. You can enjoy the story. Yeah, I've got to say, I like that story. I mean, you can like skip certain bits of it, you know.
What the fuck did he just say? Do you think this is a game? Like, do you think this is a game?
I mean, but the main, like, overall, it's like a decent story. I like it. What do you mean you don't have to listen to it all?
More than a game.
You know, like the side bits, right? Like, so yesterday I'm playing the MSQ, and this like little Pikachu.
Look, it's just he's drunk. Okay, he doesn't know better because he's drunk. He's just talking crazy. All right, that's what's going on here.
Lalafell thing came up to me and started talking about science and stuff. I mean, that's a skip, right? That is a skippers. Her name is Kryl. You know what? Maybe this isn't for you. You know,
yeah,
maybe you should go back to the single-player Final Fantasies or something. Weren't you saying you were going to play FF7? I was, right? But it's all right. I like the bit where you can change the names, though, right? I mean, what kind of name is Aeris? It's Aeris. MMO Tribalism. What the fuck is going on with this? Holy crap. All right. So, if you don't know, two things happened in the past 2 weeks that have really exposed the ugly underbelly of MMO gamers. And it's not just MMO gamers, it's all gamers in general. In fact, I can think back to like 10 years ago when my man John Bain, Total Biscuit, made a video exactly like this, talking about the crazy mindset of a lot of gamers when they take snippets and bits of information and then they run wild with it and go crazy. So first things first, a couple of weeks ago, a dance club, nightclub, ERP sort of club put up a real life billboard.
Oh no, the billboard.
In the streets of America to advertise their upcoming summer party.
The billboard. Boy, we have talked quite at length about that. I said that I was done. I said everything that I wanted to say about it. We probably talked about the whole situation for several hours, but the memes, while the discourse may have passed, the memes are forever. Memes that are 100% legal. Legally, some memes have come out of this.
Now, I'm not going to talk about the billboard itself. There's lots of information about there, but it was
he's done
so
too.
Stupid.
He's also done. He's also done. He's the same reaction. He's like, actually, I'm done talking about this. The same thing I just said. We are over it at this point.
And really funny. But also, extremely riled up the player base, and a lot of crazy things went out there, despite there being no repercussions that we know of whatsoever for these guys doing this. But what did they do? What caused people to lose their goddamn minds and run away with the horror of this thing?
A lot.
And actually, the weird thing about this is Final Fantasy XIV is kind of known in the community as the welcoming experience. You can check any subreddit where people are just playing an MMO and they walk up to people and they wave at them, they talk to them, they say hi. When they do dungeons, they are friendly to each other. If things go wrong, they try to explain what's going on. They give you commendation systems to try and make it a more positive experience. They give you extra rewards if you're playing with a new player. As soon as you zone into a dungeon or whatever, it will say, hey, there's a guy here who's never done this dungeon before, so take care of them and we're going to give you a bunch of extra rewards if you go and do that. So it's considered to be the non-toxic MMO. However,
that is true. And in fact, I was on my alt the other day, my NA alt, and somebody came up to me and they were just like, hey, are you new to the game? And I'm like, well, yeah, I lied. I just want to see what he was going to say. Yeah, I fibbed a little bit. I said, yeah, I'm new. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's like I'm new. If you think about time on like a cosmic scale, right? And I didn't start it in 1.0, so I'm new, right? Heaven's Word wasn't that long ago. Anyways, I'm like, yeah. And he says, oh, well, if you have any questions about the game, or if you need any help with anything, please let me know. I'll be, if you need any help with a dungeon or a trial, like just, you can add me if you want. And I hope you have a good time. I just love seeing new players in this game, and I hope you have a good time. It was very wholesome. So it is true that it is very new player friendly. And I know a lot of people that had a similar experience. I really wanted to find the exact quote, but I'm not going to be able to. So, okay, let's keep watching. Let's just keep watching. Sprouted heart. Wish you could just keep that sprout thing on at all times, honestly. Prepare people better. Okay.
Following me leaving World of Warcraft on my day-to-day coverage is a lot of people coming over from WoW and checking it out. And then after this event, the sheer amount of salt mine that was farmed there resulted in is this kind of bullshit? Is that what it is? Is this kind of bull? Is this actually like really toxic? It's just that people
We're not doing the billboard discussion again. We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
Perception of this thing going on, because the reaction of the Final Fantasy community was extreme. Now, let's talk about that real quickly before we get.
I also want to say that probably another reason that the reaction was extreme is because we don't have any new content right now. We're all sitting with our thumbs up our asses waiting for patch 6.2 at the end of August. And a lot of us are pretty much done with the other content that we got in patch 6.1. Like, we're done with Dragonsong War, done with Savage, and done with Alliance Raid. And pretty much it was this big piece of news that everybody could capitalize on in some way by talking about it. And it was like, nice. Finally, like, we all have like this thing to discuss when there's jack shit going on right now. So that's probably another reason. Like, maybe if we had just had a big patch and we had a lot to do to distract ourselves, then it wouldn't have blown up to the degree that it did. But it was really also quite a crazy thing to occur. I mean, it is straight up wild for the people that actually saw these billboards on the side of the road. In one case, I think the one in California was like not that far from one of Square Enix's offices in California. And that was, I mean, one of the reasons that we talked about it so much here was because it was absolutely hilarious. Like, there was so many aspects of it that were very funny. So there was like a combination of factors. Not a lot to do in the game, so we're looking for something to talk about. There was also a lot about it that was just really, really funny. And it was bizarre. It was attention grabbing. Because that's really what billboards are designed to do. It's grab people's attention. That's the main thing that they do. So it made sense that it did get everybody's attention.
The second thing, which is Dragonflight Alpha, which we'll get there in a minute. So, No, it is. It's a very friendly MMO. What I would say is I have been recently playing through all the FFs. I want the history. I want to see where the development came from, what inspiration came from, how they redeveloped their systems. The same stuff I want to know about any game with this kind of longevity is where did it originate from? How did we get from A to B? How did we get there? So in doing that, I have found that very, very toxic underbelly. And it's bizarre because you just don't expect it to exist. And
wait, is this spoilers?
in some cases, particularly Final Fantasy VII,
I didn't.
we found people who were extremely protective. Let's use that word. And I would say to those guys who are like, whoa, is FF kind of a scam level of not toxic? No, it's not. In nearly all cases, and in everything we're going to talk about today,
it's the start of the game.
Majority
it's the start of the game. Okay.
People are totally nice, totally wonderful people. And that's true of every single game. It's that minority.
It's
and
the
especially
minority.
the minority that's
very
invested. That is a little scary, if I'm being honest with you. Like, actually, like, scaring me, but more like obnoxious to be around. They're really crazy to be with, and they're awful people in general in terms of their mentality. I'm not saying they're real life awful people, but their mentality about certain things is maddening. Like, in the intro to this video, like, I went to pretend stab somebody who renamed Eris the wrong way. I can only express to you the level of articles and Discord posts and videos that were linked to me when I pronounced the name Aerith, because that's how it's spelt in Final Fantasy VII in the version I had. And I was wrong. And the rage and anger I got. In regards to the billboard,
really?
which I brought this subject up on, those guys who made the billboard made some ridiculously unnecessary, stupid decisions, such as data mining. Now, if you're a WoW fan, data mining is bread and butter.
Yes, that was the other thing. It's been a few weeks since, it feels like it's been a long time since we talked about it, but that was another major problem. Besides the Discord being a gateway to a lot of ERP content without that being adequately disclosed, the other major thing was the data mined outfit that appeared on the billboard, which I'm sure he's about to talk about how data mining in the Final Fantasy XIV community is seen very, very differently than in the WoW community. And a lot of that is just due to the fact that Final Fantasy XIV is a heavily story-based game. It is so much of it is about the story, like the dungeons, the trials, pretty much every aspect of the game revolves around the story in some way. And so for Final Fantasy XIV, data mines are devastating. Leaks and things are devastating to the game experience. They can be spoilery, and it's just not a good time. It's not something that we want. It's heavily, heavily frowned upon. And I know that's pretty hard for people coming from the WoW community, where it's pretty much like data mines are just part of the World of Warcraft news cycle, and it's very much expected by the devs. And it's just something you expect to see. Like, oh, we already got the data mined models for the new mounts that are coming out. Like, that's normal over there. And so a lot of people, I guess, didn't understand why the data mined stuff in Final Fantasy 14 is seen in a completely different light.
It happens as soon as a patch comes out, as soon as a build is uploaded. There you can go and watch live streams of Wowhead data mining all the stuff. It's a very commonplace thing. For Final Fantasy XIV, it is a massive no-no. You do not data mine things, you do not spoil things, you do not reveal a goddamn thing about that game. And if they find you there doing that, they will come after you viciously.
Yeah.
They do not like data mining at all. It's a different approach. I prefer it because everything's kept secret. We don't know every little snippet.
It is better. Honestly, it is better. Having played both games extensively, I also prefer Final Fantasy XIV's model of letting everything be a true surprise whenever it comes out, because it's so much more exciting. It is so much more fun. There was a time in Stormblood where there were some leaks about Blue Mage coming out before we knew it was going to come out. And then there was leaks about Hrothgar going to be a new race. And so whenever these things were announced, all of the excitement and the punch of that was just gone. And there had also been the other side effect of like people building up a lot of hype about Blue Mage, which ended up being not great because Blue Mage is a lot of people did not expect a limited job out of Blue Mage, and so letting the devs control, like keeping the data mines private, like not data mining, not leaking, policing that in our Discord server, which we do, it allows the devs to maintain control of that information coming out when they feel it's necessary, when they feel it's going to be right for us to hear about those things. And generally, they do have a pretty good handle on when the right time to announce those kinds of things will be. So as a community, we can all celebrate and enjoy them together. That's one of the things that I love about the story in general in Final Fantasy 14, is that because we do not have that PTR, we don't have the public test realm where we're going to see and like, you know, hear data mine cutscenes and things like that. Because we don't have that, on patch day is the day that we as a community together see everything for the first time. And that's just something that I have found to be very magical about the game, and that I think that has helped the community sort of come together every patch day. Like, we really feel like we're all well, we don't feel like it. We truly are all on the same page, on the same playing field on patch day, and it's really fun. It's just really fun. It's like a big giant party. Well, that's how patch day should feel, you know?
And model and mount as soon as it comes out. But as we saw recently with the 500 mount reward for Dragonflight, it could be a good thing because people can go, I don't want that. That's bad. Change that, please. And then
but in WoW, because WoW is not such a heavily story-based game like Final Fantasy, they get away with it more. Because it's not like every time there's a data mine thing, this is a hint about what this certain character is going to do or where we're going to go, or like, because all of that stuff can have story implications for Final Fantasy 14, and WoW is just a whole different enchilada.
It has the opportunity to respond. So there's pros and cons to each side. One, you get a completely unspoiled experience. On the other hand, you get to make changes before they go live, which would better suit the community. So it's one of those. But they data mined items and put it in their picture on their billboard. And they also advertised the use of add-ons because they used photographs which were done with add-ons. Only way you can take these screenshots is with add-ons. They also put Square Enix's logo on that, which is just like they felt they had to, but like you don't, for especially if you're advertising a Discord with ERP in it.
Yeah.
But they used an add-on to take the pictures of the characters, which again, both of these things massively, massively unnecessary. You can take great screenshots without the use of add-ons, and there's enough glamour transmog in the game to take.
I would also add, not to rehash the whole thing all over again, but the creators of mods, the modding community, also was very much against their mods being shown and displayed in such a public fashion, because generally they like to fly under the radar and not be talked about too much, so that Square Enix will pretty much leave them alone. So yeah, it's
make wonderful pictures without having to data mine items that aren't released yet. Completely unnecessary things to do, right? Here's the problem. Add-on usage is a weird thing in Final Fantasy XIV. As those of you who play it will know, is that the way the devs work it is kind of the turn the blind eye. Yeah, what they don't want in their games, similar to the data mining, is they don't want things like boss mods. They don't want people using add-ons like weak auras, especially, which are tracking internal data, which are manipulating the fights to make them easier. They don't want that. They want their fights to be epic and spectacular, and they want to make sure they are providing all the information you should need to overcome that fight. And if that's not happening, then they can go back and correct it. So one of the biggest challenges I faced playing FF14, harder content especially, is watching the boss for what it's going to do. Because we never did that in WoW. Like, we had a timer. If the boss is going to swing somewhere or something like that, like Emperors, all the way back in Mr. Pandaria, kind of had that, but it's just a facing of the boss. This is like, you've got to look at the wings, you've got to look at where it raises its hand, you've got to look at the color that's glowing or something like that. You really have to pay attention to the boss. Yeah, and having boss mods actually distracts from that and makes that mechanic trivial. Because if it's just a case of the game detects it and says, hey, everybody go...
It's definitely more immersive to have to watch what the boss is actually doing to know where to go next. And that's something that I really enjoy as well. It's actually something that Yoshi P said he specifically tried to encourage the devs to put in the game, because he said that he was playing and he noticed that a lot of times he was just looking at the cast bar and reading what the cast bar said and making decisions based on that. And he said that he didn't like always just staring at the boss's cast bar. He thought it would be more fun to stare at the actual boss animations. So that's one of the reasons why that is baked into a lot of raid design. Somebody else said live letters are awesome because of everyone's reaction to see what's to come in the upcoming patch. That is so true. That's another really good point regarding, you know, keeping data mines, like not data mining, not sharing leaks, is that live letters is something we all really look forward to. It's like really exciting for me to restream it, in which they allow everybody to restream it and watch it. with her communities, and us to see the new armors and stuff shown to us by Yoshi P personally. It's really fun. So that definitely wouldn't be fun at all if we already knew based on data mines. So that's a really good point
left,
as well.
right, up and down, whatever it might be. They don't want that, but they understand that a lot of people do use add-ons. I, in fact, suspect a massive amount of people use add-ons, but they're not interfering with the game. Their stance on it is, if you're using add-ons, we can ban you or suspend you. That's as simple as that. But they understand that most of these add-ons are completely innocent. I use an add-on. I use an add-on that just shows chat bubbles because it makes the game completely so much better for me.
It
so
does,
much better
though.
because I don't like looking at chat
better.
box. I like to see who's talking and when.
Live, laugh, love. I remember that. Okay, so let me just say that as a streamer, when you are streaming, usually you have your chat box hidden because people could DM you crazy stuff. You don't have a lot of control about what is being put in there, and generally it's a convenient place to put the camera. But it's really nice to see /say, and there's no way for people watching to really, obviously there's no way for them to see what is in /say. And I've been to a couple of roleplay events where there was a ton of people talking, there was a ton of emotes going on, and it was almost impossible for me to keep up with what people were saying to me in game in the roleplay events because there's just so much text going on. Because not only do I have to scroll up through a lot of text in the chat box, but I also have to read, try to my best to keep up with the stream chat. And it's been very overwhelming for me to try to do all of that. Not having chat bubbles is, for streamers especially, is the big suck. But I will not stream with add-ons. I will not do it because that has been, I feel like there is risk involved. Like when you stream with add-ons, you are taking on a risk, and I just can't. I will not. And everybody has to make that decision for themselves with how comfortable they are doing it. But I personally cannot take the risk. So I'm sad. I'm really sad about it because chat bubbles are amazing. But.
Especially if they're pairing it up with some sort of emo or action that they're doing, which is a very big part of FF14. It makes a lot more sense. It makes my game far more enjoyable. It also shows the liveliness that is happening in the game. A chat log is fine, but once you see all those things popping up, you can see how excited. We had recently had the biggest Final Fantasy XIV in-game event ever. We're pretty sure it was number one. If it's not number one, it's in the top three. Where literally the Square Enix engineers stayed up late to make sure
the rejoining that I did with Micah was amazing. It was honestly some of the most fun I've ever had in the game.
The server wouldn't crash because we had so many people there. And during that event, we had people singing the Pokemon theme because we had live DJs and things like that for the event. And seeing all the chat bubbles and stuff pop up and seeing the log come out was fantastic because it showed what everybody was joining in. The thousands of people that was there, it was incredible. But this billboard exposed this add-on usage to the general public. Unnecessarily. It was totally unneeded. Which then obviously drove the people to be like, excuse me, and you prodded the bear, that very protective bear, and that's when the salt mine opened up. And rightfully so, I would say, because it was, again...
And then he was jamming out. He was having such a good time that whole night, too. It was really great to see it. Oh, man.
Unnecessary.
I have so many good memories from that. Even though I did get separated from the main group at one point when I left with... I left in a car with 3 buddy boys. That did happen.
And it just exposed these things like, hey, this might force them to crack down on it. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? This might force them to say, oh my God, you're actually doing this on public billboards in the streets, things that you can't actually do in-game. Like, that's a problem. That's something that might disrupt this whole community of people who is doing these things purely out of fun. That's all they're doing. They're doing nothing that affects the game. They're just having fun. They just like...
What he's showing here is a screenshot from a Discord of people who create some tools that allow people to show unavailable gear, like gear that is not yet in the game. like various hairstyles and things. And no, it's not for. This is not for hairstyles. This is just for different like gear, like the data mine gear would have been involved, and they would have had to use this to get the data mine gear. Okay, I can't talk. I don't know what's wrong with me. And anyway, the team that created that tool said that we do not condone the use of this for that. Doing this is such a blatant, obnoxious publicity stunt. This can have far-reaching consequences for the entire community. Basically, please use discretion. Use these tools in a private manner so you do not compromise yourself or your account, because they would like to continue to keep working on these things so that everybody can enjoy them privately. Though I'm not saying that you should. In fact, I'm telling you don't do that. But the people who worked on the tool also said don't do that, because it's don't do it. Don't use mods. Ever. Okay?
To pose their characters
That's
in certain
my
ways.
official
Yes,
stance.
some people will use it for
Don't do it.
NSFW things. But in a lot of cases, they use them for making fun stuff with group photos and things like that, like free companies or whatever it might be. And the rage was almost something I'd never seen in Final Fantasy, outside of the other games, Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy VII especially. I'd seen that rage. But it does exist, but it always exists, because
I think we've had rage before. I think we have had the rage before. When was the last time that we had a big situation that everybody got really mad about? I gotta think about that. Maybe the last time that Yoshi P started the live letter and he told everybody, hey, please stop posting lewd, modded screenshots of Final Fantasy characters on Twitter because it's embarrassing. Can you stop doing that? Maybe that's the last time everybody got really pissed. Robotic stream, the summoner rework, Kaiten. Yeah, actually, there's a lot of things like that.
because we saw it again with Dragonflight Alpha. So let's clear this up, because if you've been even remotely in the sphere of World of Warcraft, you've probably heard about this, and you've probably seen the, I think now, 700-page threads, 700 comment threads, videos and stuff that have been made about this subject, which has been completely blown out of proportion. So obviously Dragonflight Alpha launched last week, and of course people were asking me if I had it. Of course they were. As soon as I started my stream, it was like, did you get in? Are you part of this? Did Blizzard give it to you? If not, you must have been angry, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't get it. And I said, no, I don't have it. I'm not shocked, because the reality is, one...
Wait, when's this video from? It's from 2 days ago, but he did get it.
Didn't try to get in. I distanced myself from there.
I also want to add that they have been doing this time with the alpha testing. It seems that they're going in different phases, where maybe not everybody got in on the first phase, where the first phase will focus on one thing, and then for the next phase they'll focus on some other part that they want people to test, and then the next they'll focus on some other part. And think maybe with each successive phase they're adding new people in, so maybe that's why it just took a little longer for Mike.
I didn't try to get in.
I personally got in for the not in the first one, but after the second one. Now my account is now flagged for alpha access too, so I don't know how. I
obviously had no idea what Dragonflight was going to be like, and I didn't try to push it or anything like that. I wasn't expecting to get it. And I was kind of told by one of the people internally at Blizzard that after I said, look, they don't respect the player anymore, it feels like Blizzard resents the player. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, this is from the video titled An End of an Era, when we stopped covering WoW. It feels like there's no respect for the players. It almost feels like Blizzard resents the players in a lot of ways. If that changes, I'll come and have a look. I'll come and check it out. It's not going to be WoW coverage, but maybe. I'm never going to say never. I'll come and have a look. I'll come and check it out. I know you probably didn't watch it, but are still angry about it. You should watch it, because it'll make more sense as to what the hell is going on here.
I'll come and have a look.
Oh no.
So in there we said we'd only ever come back and have a look at WoW if they changed those aspects, because that's how I felt the game had gone for a long time. It was just mandatory stuff, chores all the time, just forcing you down roads, whether you wanted to or not, with a cattle prod, saying, well, if you don't want to have, like, power, then you have to play out, you have to run on our hamster wheel. And
it's like, I was there, man. Like, I have been watching Preach Gaming for a long time, Buns. And I will never forget just how frustrated he was and angry. And it was like, there was tons of beta feedback given, and it's felt like among not just for him, but for a lot of the people that were testing at the time for Shadowlands and for BFA, people just felt like they weren't being listened to. And there was a period of time there when pretty much every WoW content creator that I respected was just making negative video after negative video and screaming and just upset and sad about where their game was headed, and feeling like they were forced to do stuff that's not fun, being forced into a style of play that players didn't want, that just didn't make any sense to anybody. And it was rough watching that. That's one of the reasons why I loved seeing Mike come to Final Fantasy XIV and have so much fun in it. But at the same time, I know I was watching those videos back then because WoW is a game that I loved for many years. That was a massive part of my life. That's why I was so invested in watching how this would all play out. And I have a feeling like I know where this is going based on the title of the video, because I had to deal with this quite a lot this week, and I'm sure I will be continuing to deal with it as we continue to check out Dragonflight Alpha, because I too am testing in the alpha. It
wasn't fun. And it just went that way for years and years. They were pigeonholing people, covenants and things like that. All that kind of stuff was happening. Now, Dragonflight seems to be a complete 180 on that.
It does.
After like 5 years. I would say Legion, they kind of got lucky. It started rough and then they fixed it up. And then after that, it went in a different way. We're not going to go too much detail on that. There's, hundreds of videos I've made on that. But Dragonflight looks like a complete 180. So I was like, cool. Ian was doing some fantastic interviews and talking about it. So the day Alpha came, I was kind of, the thing that got me in trouble was saying I'm still kind of pissed about it, which is a very, very, as most people realize, again, we're talking about this very tiny percentage of people who don't get this. But yeah, I was like, fuck. Yeah, I'm still kind of pissed about it. I have no right to be. I have absolutely no right to feel that way, but I did. And that's what I said. Is like I was being honest with my audience, as I always am. It's easier for me, who's on camera and recording my audio 12 to 15 hours a day, regularly. It's easier if you just tell the truth, because then you don't have to remember lies. That's how I look at it. It's like, what?
Look, I couldn't agree more, but I'm also really shit at lying. Like, I'm really, really bad at it. I'm the worst liar. It's so easy for people to tell how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking about at any time. I cannot hide it at all. I literally cannot hide how I feel or what I'm thinking. I just can't. I can't.
Why would I bother lying? So I told the truth. I was like, yeah, although I didn't expect to get it, I was kind of told I wasn't going to get it. I still feel kind of pissed about it, but whatever, we'll move on with it. And that was it. But that clip is about, I don't know, 15 seconds long or something. Shitstorm.
Oh,
everywhere.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait. So he said in an offhanded way on stream something like, oh, I'm kind of pissed. And then it went nuclear. Is that what happened? Because I didn't know that. I didn't know this happened.
And it was again this salty tribalism that kicked off. Is being a traitor to a video game.
I've heard that.
Fucking stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid. That's like being a traitor.
It is fucking stupid. Thank you, Mike. I had to deal with that this week as well. Quite a bit. People forgetting that it's a product. It is a product that you buy with money and does not deserve your loyalty in the way that a person might. Like that a relationship might deserve loyalty. Products do not deserve that.
It's a Coca-Cola. What are you doing?
Coca-Cola, yeah.
Honestly. You absolute maniacs. Like, what are you
not
doing?
married.
He left us. He left us. Yeah.
It's an open relationship. Okay.
I wasn't having fun anymore in a video game. I left you. Sorry. Like, it's so bizarre. The fucking madness that came out of this. And I will link the thread so you can go and have a read.
It just makes me so mad, actually, because a second ago I just talked about how he went through this era where he was making a ton of just really negative videos with giving his honest opinion about the state of World of Warcraft at the time, and it was clear that he was just not having fun. I literally remember videos where he just sat at the camera and just yelled about how frustrated he was. And that was horrible to watch as someone who cared about him and wanted him to have fun. You know, maybe like, it's like by watching a YouTuber, by watching a streamer, you do develop, I know, this sort of like parasocial relationship with them, but you do also want them to be happy. You want them to have a good time. You don't want them to just be suffering and frustrated all day, every day, and angry. And I could just tell that over time, not just with Mike, but with other WoW content creators, like it was affecting them mentally at a certain point. And for some of these people to get angry that someone who was just miserable at the time making content for a game didn't continue to suffer, didn't continue to just make more and more upsetting, frustrated, angry videos. Like that's what these people would have wanted. It really pisses me off, having seen how much fun he's had in Final Fantasy 14 in the meantime. And if he wants to give WoW another chance because it's a new expansion, it feels like a fresh start, I myself have decided to give WoW that chance with the alpha because haven't seen anything yet that's concerning. But that's up to him. That's his decision. But gosh, it just really upsets me that some people would rather him be miserable and just keep making that miserable, like, negative videos day after day instead of seeing him happy and having a good time and laughing and like going to parties and things. It just makes me so mad, honestly.
The worst part about it is none of it was true. And that makes all this kind of stuff really hard to deal with for us. Well, it doesn't actually. It makes it easy. We just ignore it because there's no way of winning with that. I even had people on Twitter, which was, again, hundreds and hundreds of tweets about this.
Dance for me, streamer. Dance till you self-destruct. That's what they wanted. Exactly. Exactly. You play games to escape and have a good time. When the game is no longer fun, you move on. That is it. People forget what they're even doing by logging in every day in a video game. What they're even doing by spending money on a game. It's to have fun. It's to get away from life's bullshit. That's it. Okay.
I said, I didn't try and get it. I didn't do anything because I've never had to in the past. If I was ever getting into an alpha, it appeared. That's it. It simply appeared.
Wait. What was these comments that he showed on screen? Where was this that he showed on screen? He holds a lot of blame for why the end game has been in the state that it's in since. Wait, what? Wait, what? Him and people like him blew smoke up the devs' backsides. We all paid the price. Wait, are you shitting me? Are you telling me that Mike invented Covenants and Mike invented Azerite armor? Holy shit. So that was like a 5D chess that he was doing. So he invented Azerite armor so that he could then go on and make a shitload of videos about how terrible it was for content. Is that what happened? Oh, did he invent garrisons as well? Oh no. We got Island Sanctuary coming up. Is that is Mike about to put garrisons in Final Fantasy 14? Holy shit. shit. People are so dumb, man.
Even had people on Twitter, which was again hundreds and hundreds of.
Have I used WoW and Blizzard's product to promote myself as an entertainer and made millions from that process of using WoW as a platform that made millions more from other games I play as I bash WoW. Yes, we, the gamer elite, are sitting here in our ivory towers, making literal millions. $1 million from hanging out in catgirl nightclubs. Yeah. Sorry, dude. Sorry, dude. Millions, that's nothing. I've been making like billions, actually, with a B.
Tweets about this, where I said I didn't try and get it. I didn't do anything because I've never had to in the past. If I was ever getting into an alpha, it appeared. That's it.
Okay.
It simply appeared.
Millions.
And therefore, we didn't do anything about it at all. We just left it be. I haven't followed the internals of Blizzard for a while, besides what...
When are you going to space like Bezos? Yeah, so that's one of the things that I'm going to do with my billions of dollars is I'm going to build a moon base, and we're going to genetically engineer the elaborates to live there so I can live out my real Final Fantasy there.
It's been in the news. I am a part of the Content Creators Discord, but I don't check there very often because those guys are usually chatting about all kinds of different things that I'm not interested in. It might be pet battles. It might be what's going on in Zareth Mortal.
Oh, is that an Illidan statue back there? Ooh. That's really nice. I would like
which
that.
I'm not playing, so I have it muted. Because, you know, I'm not going to follow that stuff right now. I'm not going to check that. I'll wait for some big announcement like an alpha coming. So anyway.
Okay.
This salt miners tribalism, very directed against...
You know how much that Illidan statue costs? I think it's $1 million. But that's like pocket change when you're a content creator. It's like... I might be able to afford it. I might be able to afford it if I hadn't already spent $1 million on my gaming chair that I've been sitting on for 2 months. Yeah, I already spent that million, so I guess I have to stream a little longer to afford the Illidan statue as well. It was
interesting because it was nonsense. Like, we'd never play WoW again. People who believe that if you stop covering a game on YouTube, then you should never touch the game again. It's kind of weird. I haven't played WoW for a while. I played raiding with my friends. I said in that video, again, if you didn't watch it, I did say in the video, I was still playing WoW. And we have...
I've seen that. I watched that video 2 or 3 times, yeah. I've seen it. And he did say that he would chill with his friends in WoW a little bit. He did say that, yeah.
Haven't covered World of Warcraft on any sort of regular basis.
Look, but I also feel like the people that will listen to what he's saying in a rational way are not the people that are like saying this dumb shit as well. Okay. These are 2 different groups of people, I feel.
On the YouTube channel for a while, which is what we said we would do. And we're not going back to that either. I'm not going to be doing it. Some people actually in my community were very thankful for this explanation, so maybe I can make it. But we're saying we're not covering WoW anymore.
Why is she moving again? I'm actually moving again because there's not enough room here for me to park my Porsches. Yeah, I bought another Porsche, and so I need to move somewhere with a bigger garage. Actually, like a much bigger garage. So that's why.
about every single alpha and beta since time immemorial. Well, basically since Cataclysm, although I did test the game beforehand. We made class guides or class looks on every single class spec in the game, every single dungeon, all the new things, what's happening with the systems. We would pump out something like 3 or 4 videos.
Man, I love those thumbnails, especially this one. Wait, can I zoom in on it? Can we enhance? Can we enhance? Can we please? That's really good. Okay. That was... Say what you want about the WoW coverage, right? But it's worth it for the Photoshops like that. Okay. Sorry, go on.
Videos a day and had an entire team behind the scenes working on different areas of the game, giving their impressions. Experts on their classes and specs. We did this for Shadowlands, right? We had Shadow Priest experts, Rose experts, DK experts, all looking at these things, feeding back into us, and then paying them for doing that, right? To provide that coverage so everybody had an understanding of what was going on. Because I was under no illusions. I don't know every single in and out of every class. That was what we did for a long time. And then we essentially made a WoW video every single day for literally years. And we stopped doing that.
Yeah.
We're not covering, not playing anymore, not having fun with it anymore, not doing that anymore. Does this mean we're coming back to Dragonflight? No, I don't know anything about Dragonflight. But what I can say is after this whole debacle kicked off, people were kicking off, it was Blizzard who reached out to us, which was great. Blizzard reached out to us.
That's nice.
Because they could see what was going on. And they were a little surprised that we had any interest at all. Because, of course, from Blizzard's perspective, why would we be interested in the alpha? And so they said, can we have a meeting? Like professionals. And one thing they pointed out in this tribalism war is that we understand you're not responsible for it.
I'm very curious to see, like, what was the strategy they used with Mike? Because with me, they sent an actual bunny boy to my door, and the bunny boy was holding a bouquet of flowers, and he also was holding a little card with an alpha code on it, and he said, Zepla, I know that things didn't always work out for us in the past, but I really like Final Fantasy 14 now too, but you know, we had some good times in WoW as well. Like, maybe you want to just try it. And then they made TLPD drop for me like that same day. So I mean, I didn't have a lot of choice. Oh God.
This was the best part, is they're going like, yeah, we know it's not you. We understand that there's a very tiny portion of the player base.
Babe, I've changed. They did say, like, we know you've left because of design decisions, but I mean, it's pretty good this time. We think you're gonna like it. We think you're gonna like it. And I'm like,
it's very angry at stuff,
I had a relapse.
even if it's completely untrue. But let's sit down and have a conversation. Let's do that. Let's sit down and have a conversation. So I was like, of course, let's do that. And I did that. I sat down with their community team for an hour or so, where we kicked around like, look, we're trying to, from Blizzard's point of view, we need to repair some bridges because there's been mistakes made, right? Shadowlands was in the toilets.
Wait, he talked to them for an hour?
Like it or not, it was. It was in the toilets. Nothing we predicted and got angry about did not come to pass. There'll be people who love Shadowlands. That's fantastic. But overall, in the bigger picture, not good. Not good. And a lot of the stats and who's doing what in World of Warcraft were like, WoW TBC is considerably more popular than Shadowlands. So that's what happened. It's like, look, we're trying to repair these bridges. We're trying to sort out what's going on. We would like you to have the alpha. So we'll sort that out for you so you can check it out and have a look. See what you think. And I was like, awesome, that sounds really fun. It was very professional, it was very nice. And then we talked about a great number of other subjects, which we'll talk about in the future.
Okay.
Because I haven't played Dragonflight yet. I actually have other commitments first. But
okay.
we talked about another projects in the future, which was really cool, about things that...
Will Mike play Dragonflight with me? Because I don't know how to play WoW good anymore. It does feel like with this expansion, they're really trying to bring back the longtime players, the WoW boomers who left. Because they're like, oh, we have this zone that looks like it's like kind of like Grizzly Hills, and we didn't put any bullshit in the systems, and we know that you like dragons. I feel like they're doing a lot of stuff to try to win back the older players.
Better utilizing community interaction, getting the community more involved, getting voices heard, which
That's
they're doing really well with right now.
Is listening.
But after that, I said this in the meeting. It's like, look, you're going to give me the alpha. Obviously, I do want to play it, so I will be checking it out on stream and seeing what it's like, because you seem to be going in the direction I hoped you would go in. That was the point, right? I said I would come back. If you don't know, this is also in the same video. I would come back if it looked like you were respecting the player again.
Yeah,
if you weren't resenting the player.
Fair.
And
that's
so
fair.
far, that seems to be what's happening. There's no ludicrous grind that's required, no mandatory. None of that going on. So yeah, we'll probably come and have a look, see what's going on with it. And if I don't like it, I'll let you know. But we won't go on like a hit piece or rampage or anything like that, because I have no interest in that. I have no interest in doing that. If it's good, we'll probably say something. I'll probably just give a fair and balanced review at some point. It'll probably be a video or a couple of videos. That's it. That's what we're looking to do. I'm not looking to do feedback. I will try everything, but I'm not looking to do the library of videos and things. And that's because that's going backwards in where we're at. And we're more successful now than ever. YouTube has been let down. I understand that. And me and Chris are working to resolve that with the rest of the team. But in general, we're doing better than ever. And we're happy with where we are. And we want to do that. But looking at this Sol, I mean, it's so easy to not be ignorant. That's what's crazy about this tribalism. We'll come back to the tribalism side of it. Of how protective and how soul-bound people are to companies and products and things like that, despite what it's like, is so weird.
First of all, I want to say that I think it's fantastic that they actually sat down and talked to him for a whole hour about all of the concerns that he had, about all of the major issues. And I think that, you know, knowing Mike, I doubt that he would give them another chance to just see how things were unless he felt like there was actually some hope there, and there was actually real change happening within the company. Now, memes aside, the person that I talked to at Blizzard, I talked to for a little bit, and they did tell me that they're really happy with a lot of the changes that they have seen as well. And that's the thing that a lot of people, I think, tend to forget, is that Blizzard isn't a person. Blizzard isn't even the same people, for the most part, that worked on World of Warcraft years ago. It is a group of people. It is a ton of people all working in an environment that is changing, and hopefully currently changing for the better. I think that we'll see the proof of that in what Dragonflight ends up being. And a lot of people are rightfully distrustful of that, are rightfully not wanting to give them another chance. And I think that is valid. I think that's fair. But everybody has to make that decision for themselves. Do they deserve another chance right now? Is there hope that things are actually changing? That's up to you, the consumer, to decide. And that is the decision that you should make as a consumer or as a streamer. It's
so weird to read how entrenched people are with the company. I understand for a lot of people,
but I guess we're also consumers. I don't know, I made that false dichotomy there.
It may have changed their lives at some point, got them out of depression. It may have been something they coped with during serious illness. May have got them out of some dark time in their life. May have been the happiest moments of their life. I agree. WoW has some of the happiest moments of my gaming life, for sure, as happened in World of Warcraft, without question. But when that thing turns sour on you, which it did for me over BFA and Shadowlands, then not eating that thing anymore is fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
And dealing with this, all I would say to these guys, and this tribalist mentality of bandwagoning onto something, and then being like, okay, I'm in this box now, and we go full choo-choo ahead, ignoring inconvenient things like facts or actually checking sources, which was a big thing that happened over both the Billboard situation and with the Dragonflight Alpha situation with myself, was that nobody checked. The angriest people never checked anything. They read a news article which obviously designed to clickbait people. That's what news articles do, especially from random websites, right? You can Google my name and leaving wow, and you'll find some really extreme articles about it where they take out a sentence or two and like twist it into a context.
Yeah,
the same as a reality TV show does, right?
But that's, I mean, they have the financial incentive to do so. I don't want to go on a huge rant about that, but that's the nature of online discourse, and that's one of the reasons that why we are a little bit screwed right now as humans trying to communicate complex ideas. All the nuance goes away because what sells and what gets the clicks and what gets the advertiser money is the inflammatory headlines that cut out all of that boring rationality. That, you know, if you're angry about something, if you see something that upsets you, you're much more likely to click on it, and or if you see something that makes you afraid. Like these are the things that make people dramatically increase the chances that somebody will engage with a piece of content that's posted online. And when that's the only metric you care about, well, it's no wonder that people generally just get into this mindset of, like he said, not checking sources, just having the first knee-jerk reaction. And like, it's almost like people have gotten to a point where they are ready to get angry because there's so much content online that is designed to encourage that. That's often people's first instinct, because that's the most trained instinct, that's practiced instinct. Not think things through all the way, all right? That's all I'm saying.
They film for like 24 hours. It's mostly dog shit fucking boring, but they manipulate it so that somebody seems like an absolute arsehole, whoever the producers pick.
Wait, you said people are straight up linking his own video to him without watching the thing to prove him wrong? They're linking his own video without watching it to prove him wrong. I mean, we've all been there. We have all been there where somebody links you an article to prove their point, and in the article it disproves the point. Online discussions are broken.
They manipulate it so that this girl seems really timid, even though actually she's fine. She's totally capable of looking after herself in all ways. But in the video clips they show, oh, it's like, oh, she backed down there. It's like, oh my God, right? She's so weak and frail. Oh, this guy's such a pussy, right? All that kind of stuff happens in those shows. And it's the same thing with these articles. And you've got to pull yourself out of that, especially when the information is readily available. And that's where it gets really weird. The information is readily available, that you can just go and check yourself. And I know, and look, I obviously focused more on the Dragonflight Alpha because that was personally targeted at me than the Billboard stuff, which is still fun to check out, by the way. But my End of an Era video, where we said we're not covering WoW anymore, is still online to this day. It has never been changed, it's never been edited, it's never been manipulated, and I am beholden to that. As somebody who's on camera recording my audio for all those hours every single day of my life for the last, like, I don't know, 8 years or 9 years, I'm beholden to it. You can grab my literal lines and throw them at me and say, this is what you talked about in this video, this is what you said, right? In context. You can say, look, you can watch this whole video, you can see that you said this and stuff. But none of that has happened this time, and it's such a clear example of taking what you want to hear and just going crazy with it. So my conclusion to this video is, like, pull yourselves out of that, especially when you can just check yourself.
You could just check yourself. You could. You really could. It's crazy how today, where information is more easily accessible than ever before, that people are less willing than ever to actually make use of that ease of access to information. Now, why is that? It's because we just take it for granted that it's so easy to check things out and to see if they're true or not. That it's like it's become something meaningless. It's lost the meaning and importance and value because it is so easy. And so people don't even do it anymore. Is that what's happened?
And if something's made you really angry and you're just reading a comment on Reddit or you're reading it on a forum or something like that, and then you're saying that is gospel, no. Come on, man. Do better than that. Do better than that. It's just somebody says this has cost us like $25,000, like in the case of the Billboard. Oh, it must have cost them that because that's what it costs in California.
I remember that, actually. So that's actually a fantastic example of this going on. When the Billboard drama happened, immediately, I checked that. I was checking it and learning about it that morning before I went on stream. And I usually do like to check things out if I'm going to talk about it on stream, or if I don't have time to do that, I will say, I'm sorry, but I didn't have enough time to research this, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, full disclosure, I have no idea what I'm not going to make an opinion about this. I can't make a judgment about this if I'm not fully informed, right? But I remember that morning people saying, oh, you know, that billboard cost them $25,000. And I was like, what? That sounds like bullshit. And it took me about 1 minute of Googling to find out that USA Today had covered it and talked to the person who paid for the billboard and found out it costed like around $100 or $200. So that was easily verifiable, like that day that the information came out. In less than a minute, you could have figured that out if you Googled it. And yet there were people out here making, spreading this ridiculous number, which even on the face of it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. It's just one good example of that going on.
Or whatever. And then the guy comes out and says, well, it only costs us like $15. But this guy is a known liar. Like, you have to bear all these things in mind. There's nuance to it. There's all these characterizations of it. And if you read that, in my example, Preach will never touch World of Warcraft ever again and is abandoning ship because of the allegations. No, that's not what I said at all. In that same video, the allegations were what was the final straw. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, now this is happening? Right, okay, we're pulling away from it.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Because if you had been paying attention, or even if you watched that damn video, you would have known that he was really, really frustrated. Some Crimson 9, you said sarcastically, I mean, I understand that you were joking, but you said sarcastically, that's too much work. I want people to tell me what to think. And you say that as a joke, but unfortunately, there are a shitload of people who not only want to be told what to think and what to do, but need it. They crave it. They're uncomfortable if they don't have it. And this is one of the reasons why, if you have any kind of platform, if you have any kind of say or influence over people at all, you have to be responsible with it. Because there are always going to be, and there's nothing you can do about it, there are always going to be people that are craving you to tell them what to think and what to do. And it sucks, but that's just human nature. There's like always going to be that percentage of people that are extremely uncomfortable with the idea of having to make up their own mind or make their own choices, because it is terrifying to have that accountability and to have to take responsibility for that choice.
We're taking a break, and then clearly talk about if we come back, it'll be because these changes have happened to the game. But that's the straw that broke the camel's back. It's not the weight that was piled on the camel's back. It was just another thing in the quagmire that happened to it. And you can see all that for free. So that's the situation. Wow. That's where we're at. And this tribalism shit has got to stop. And it never will.
What do you mean?
It will never stop.
It won't stop.
The tribalism will never end.
No, but...
Ever. Right, have a good day, guys.
It won't stop, no. But I don't think it has to always be extremely bad. There will always be some degree of tribalism, yeah. But I think that if you talk to people about it, like he has done in this video, if it's something that you bring up and remind people about what is like... remind people that it is a product, it is a game, that it will be less. That people will be like, oh yeah, I almost got a little crazy there. I did almost get a little bit out of hand there. I usually like to give people a lot more credit, like in general. And I think the majority of people that hop on these bandwagons do it without even really thinking about it too much. And if they do check themselves, as Mike recommended people do, then you know, they'll actually stop and say, okay, well, I didn't need to get so worked up about that. Now, did I? No, no, I didn't. But yeah, this is absolutely fantastic video. And I think it's probably a discussion topic that we're going to be hearing a lot about in the future.